So the purpose of this quote is to find a place to park this on a flat surface. After exploring the options up top, we discovered that there's actually a more suitable area over there, which we'll look at momentarily. We're also going to be quoting redoing the existing because it's 54 years old, so it needs a break up and replace. Haha. So the measurements are average 13 when you look at the length from here to here where bottles by 8, 13 by 8. It is then 10 foot wide by 24. We're going to measure this average 30, so call that 15 by 18. The carport is 20 and a half by 18, 8. So the sidewalk is 2 by, wait, let me do this. So it's 2 by 10 and a half. And then you have a landing, which is 3.5 by 3.5. This sidewalk is 3 by 6. This sidewalk is 3.5 by 25. You'll have to have this taken out and moved and reinstalled once we're done pouring. Now we're gonna go to the other side of the house. So we believe these are dead. He's gonna find out, although his Spectrum cable's buried somewhere here, so 811. We're considering doing a 30 by 12 pad here for his RV, which would stop shy of the box. Now I say these are dead because what is basically a 12 by 20 plus 10 feet that has a 16-foot apron because 2 4-foot flares. It's 16 and 10, which is average 26 divided by 2 is 13 over 10 feet. To be able to park this here, which yes, there's a good amount of digging. As you can see, the first 10 or so feet could be a little bit slant, but then the 20 feet above would need to be pretty flat for the vehicle, and he wants to put a carport to cover it. So I say 12, it may end up being 13 just because if he gets a 12-foot wide carport, he's going to need some slack to make sure it fits. Now, we might do that sidewalk, but he's thinking about having a couple of these trees taken down and doing a half circle. And the way that would have to work is coming through here, right? Because these trees would be gone, to make sure we had a good, at least 4 by whatever that is, we'll see in a second, landing to attach to the half circle. And we had to push the RV pad back to here. So I almost see this driveway being right about here. Trying to see where 20 feet gets us at least. So this is 20 feet to the middle of that. And from the house to the fence is 14. So the half circle would have to be kind of straight with a flare for the bend. If he were to want to come this far back, let's call it, instead of a 30 by 12, it's now a 20 by 12 in the back with the half circle functioning as that apron to get it in. So I'm going to measure the half circle distance and then the sidewalk, and we're going to quote this pad plus the driveway with the sidewalk as a consideration, with an alternative if we did the half circle instead of doing the sidewalk with the RV pad being pushed back here. So I'm going to just measure from this curb to that curb where I think the driveway would go, and then remember to offset by 10 feet at both entrances with the flare, because it's an average of 13 wide instead of, well, I keep saying 13 wide. That's not true, because that's not 10, it's 12. So it's 12 and 16 is 28, which is a 14 average by 10. Twice. Okay, so the distance is, I'm only about halfway right now. Just keep in mind, we're gonna put like a 10 by 10, or I guess a 12 by 12 flare triangle because that's going to be a straightaway. So this is going to almost be like an L, a flare to make it rounded. And then this is almost a straight shot because it doesn't need the bend. So this would be about 125 feet. And again, 12 foot wide. I can look at a 10-foot option in case it needs to cut the budget, at least for the travel lane, which would be average 13 instead of 14. You do the math. This video is for a scope capture plus for me to go back through and kind of draw a picture and do measurements. So if we were just to do the sidewalk, that's 8. We'll do an average. 8 plus 10, 18 divided by 3, 6 by 15. And then the rest is 3.5 by 35.5. And again, driveway, parking pad, main quote, this as an option. And then basically a separate quote for if we didn't do the sidewalk, the RV pad was smaller. We still did the driveway, but then we did a half circle instead. And this is over here in Matthews.